Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Reddy with 4 slides on some court cases I want you to know about. Starting with McCullough versus Maryland, then we'll go to Gibbons versus Ogden, then U.S. v. Lopez. McCullough versus Maryland established the supremacy of the national government over the state governments. It basically said that the states cannot intrude into the constitutional operations of the federal government. In this case, the states could not tax the federal government because it took money away from the government that was meant for the citizens. In the case, the United States government built a national bank in Maryland. Maryland didn't think that they should or could do that, and if they did do that, they were going to tax that bank. It was decided that allowing the states to tax part of the national government would interfere with national supremacy. And it also said that this federal government did have the right to interpret the Constitution broadly using the necessary and proper clause, giving it the right to build the bank. So those two clauses, or those two concepts, supremacy of the national government and implied powers, were reinforced with this court case. Next, we have Gibbons versus Ogden. In this court case, it was a Commerce Clause case, and it was concerning who had the right to issue permits for shipping and navigation on rivers within the United States. Gibbons claimed that it was the right of New York State to give that permit, and Ogden said no, it was the federal government that had the right to give and regulate commerce on the waters. The decision was made in favor of the federal government. It expanded the meaning of the Interstate Commerce Clause to including navigation as considered part of interstate commerce. This case also established that should a state law regulating commerce interfere with a federal law, the federal law was always supreme. Next, we're going to U.S. v. Lopez. In this case, the Supreme Court upheld reserved powers of the states and denied a broad implication of the national government's enumerated power to regulate interstate commerce. The federal government wanted to get involved with a court case or a case involving a student who brought a gun to school in San Antonio. The federal government said that it violated the Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990, which was put in place by the federal government. And the Supreme Court found that that Gun-Free School Zones Act was unconstitutional because it was not a necessary and proper means to regulate interstate commerce. It was not the jurisdiction of the federal government. Instead, the law was a criminal statute that state government would take care of. So it was sort of slapping the hands of the federal government in this case when they tried to use the Interstate Commerce Clause to get involved with this case. That's it. Thanks for listening.